A former Army Special Forces intelligence officer has gone public with an incredible UFO encounter documented by U.S. military personnel. On February 15, 2022, Captain Case Best and 4 colleagues witnessed a massive 300-foot elliptical object hovering motionless over Cheyenne Mountain, one of America's most secure military installations. And what happens next reveals troubling gaps in how our defense establishment handles these encounters and raises serious questions about what is operating in restricted airspace above our most sensitive facilities. I'm here to report the information without bias, and you can decide what to believe. As always, you can find the sources in my detailed articles at ufonews.co, along with in the description box below. Hey, ufologers, I'm Cristina Gomez, and welcome to this episode of UFO News Updates.
What did you see?
It's hard to describe. Even now, just a few years later, it was unlike anything that I frankly could have made up, and I'm not the most creative person, but it was a massive, perfectly still elliptical object, and the stillness was just shocking. Like it was almost tied to a fixed point in space. If I were to guess, and this is hard to say, 6 miles away, but I would guess maybe 300 feet at least. Elliptical like this, white in color, comprised of these uniform panels that seemed to be all pentagons, but were all irregularly shaped. They were joined at the seams, the linear seams, and these irregularly shaped but uniform in area pentagonal panels were like a mother of pearl or a white ceramic color, and it was a perfect sunny Colorado bluebird day, 50 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and you could see these panels move as they kind of glisten in the sun.
That was Captain Case Best on Reality Check. And this is not your typical UFO witness. West Point graduate, Army Ranger, Special Forces officer, and intelligence specialist with top secret clearances. And at the same time of his sighting, he commanded 65 intelligence personnel as a military intelligence detachment commander for the 10th Special Forces Group. And the location makes his case really interesting. Cheyenne Mountain Complex, built between 1961 and 1966 at a cost equivalent to $1.5 billion today, serves as NORAD's alternative command center. The facility can withstand a 30-megaton nuclear blast that sits 2,000 feet inside solid granite, designed to protect North America's aerospace defense operations. And this isn't just any military base, obviously. This is where nuclear war would be coordinated from, where threats to North American airspace are monitored 24/7. And February 15th, 2022 was significant timing, just 1 week before Russia's invasion on Ukraine. Best and his team were heading to a classified intelligence briefing when they witnessed this object. And for at least 30 seconds, all 5 highly trained intelligence personnel observed this craft in perfect daylight conditions. The object was completely silent, no visible propulsion, perfectly stationary despite being 6 miles away at about 300 to 500 feet above the mountain peak. But perhaps most remarkable was how the sighting was concluded.
Our observation of the UAP that we saw is we had 5 set of eyes looking at it, and then in one instance it was there, and the next instance it was completely gone.
Do you think it moved, or do you think it literally disapparated?
It's so frustrating because we don't have like a solid conclusion of events. The quickest, whatever happened, it happened instantly. We didn't see it fizzle out. We didn't see it blink away. We didn't see the object shoot off at rapid speed. It was just there one moment, and then it wasn't there the next. And our location is on a hill, and we can see 360 degrees, pretty much to the horizon, except to the west where Cheyenne is. And we looked around instantaneously, and it was nowhere to be seen.
Here's where this story becomes deeply concerning. Best eventually reported this incident to AARO, the Pentagon's official UFO investigation office, and the response he received exposes serious flaws in our government's approach to this phenomena. Best does everything right. He sends all the data and all the notes to AARO only to receive this.
I wait for a month or two. I don't hear anything back. Kind of put it on the back burner of my mind as well. And then one day I'm checking one of my computers and I have a response from them with something along the lines of THX-AARO. So thanks, AARO. I think there was a sentence along with it too, like saying they received the copy, but that sentence, the only thing I remember of it is that it had typos in it. So I've worked with most agencies within the intelligence community, quite a few agencies in the Department of Defense. I've had generally very professional experiences. This one stood out as shockingly unprofessional and unlike any other experience I'd had prior.
AARO's conclusion? They suggested Best and his team witnessed a surveillance balloon, specifically a PTID system. And this explanation falls apart under, well, any kind of scrutiny. Per recent reports, AARO has opened hundreds of investigations since 2022, with about half resolved through mundane explanations like weather balloons, while the other half kind of remains unexplained due to insufficient data. But Best had seen these balloons hundreds of times during deployments. The object they witnessed was noticeably larger, exhibited different behavior, and most crucially, it vanished instantaneously rather than slowly descending like tethered balloons do. But AARO gave a very funny name to the encounter.
What did you call the object? What was your nickname for it?
So we didn't have a nickname. Maybe we'll get into it a little bit later, but AARO, their office nickname was for this object was the crystalline potato.
Crystalline potato.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It didn't seem like it was made of crystal, but it did have a kind of a reflection to it.
Very frustrated by AARO's dismissive response, Best turned to another avenue, one that took his report far more seriously. Through Americans for Safe Aerospace, he was connected to FBI investigators, and while AARO sent typo-filled dismissals, the FBI conducted formal investigations, brought in sketch artists, and interviewed multiple witnesses, and Americans for Safe Aerospace, founded by former Navy pilot Ryan Graves, has become the world's largest UFO organization by membership, primarily from pilots and veterans. And this raises a very uncomfortable question. Why is the FBI, a law enforcement agency, conducting more thorough UFO investigations than the Pentagon's office specifically created for this purpose, studying UFOs? AARO's current director, John Koslowski, acknowledged they have this geographic bias where we are getting reports near the national security sites, and admits they need to build a baseline for reference to understand what normal looks like near these types of facilities. The timing of these encounters is also noteworthy. Best's sighting occurred during heightened tensions preceding the Ukraine conflict, and historical precedent shows similar objects have appeared during other geopolitically sensitive moments, including over the Northwest Cape facility in Australia during the 1973 Middle East crisis when the US went to DEFCON 2. So, what concerns you more? That unknown objects are operating over our most sensitive facilities, or that official responses appear to be institutional dismissals rather than serious investigations? As noted by former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Christopher Mellon regarding AARO's historical report, quote, "Hundreds of credible military reports remain unexplained and are continuing to pour in. The public needs to understand why it is imperative to continue to aggressively investigate UAP for both national security and science." I'm Cristina Gomez, and that is it for today. I will see you next time. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies. enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the notification bell as I do daily UFO news and updates. Fresh UAP stories, government disclosures, and breaking developments land here every single day.